top story, the Aurangzeb narrative keeps spinning on, viewers. Now a big political face-off. You have the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, Yogi Adityanath, who went out all against the Samajwadi Party for glorifying a tyrant and questioning the Mahakum. On the other hand, Abu Azmi now finds himself suspended from the Maharashtra Assembly. The Samajwadi Party and other allies backing him other than the Uddhav Sena.
The face-off over Aurangzeb escalates. SP MLA Abu Azmi was suspended from the Maharashtra Assembly for claiming Aurangzeb was not a cruel ruler. Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath flayed the Samajwadi Party MLA for glorifying Aurangzeb.
आज राम को, कृष्ण को, शिव की परंपरा को, भारत की विरासत को कोसना ये समाजवादी पार्टी का मानो जीवन का उद्देश्य हो गया। और दुर्भाग्य है कि इन्होंने आदर्श किसको माना है, यानी औरंगजेब को।
Yogi challenged Akhilesh Yadav to expel Abu Azmi from the party and condemn his remarks.
ये समाजवादी पार्टी का नेता, आपका विधायक घोषणा करो ना, उस कमबख्त को निकालो पार्टी से और उसको एक बार यूपी भेज दीजिए, बाकी उपचार हम अपने आप करवा लेंगे।
SP Chief Akhilesh Yadav lent his weight to Abu Azmi, claiming his suspension was done on the basis of ideology. Abu Azmi cried foul over his suspension, calling it grave injustice against him.
अब मैं बात करूंगा, स्पीकर साहब से बात करूंगा, कौन से रूल्स आपने मुझे किया है, फिर जो इसके रास्ते होते हैं वो देखूंगा, कायदे से उसका, हाँ जो भी देखता हूँ मैं इस बात करूंगा। बिल्कुल मुझे बुलाना चाहिए था और सफाई मौका देना चाहिए था। अब योगी जी की सरकार है, यहाँ पे जो है हमारे फडणवीस साहब की सरकार है और हमारे एकनाथ शिंदे साहब की सरकार है। अगर इस सरकार में डिक्टेटरशिप है, इसमें जो है लोकशाही नहीं है, डेमोक्रेसी खत्म हो चुकी है, तो जो चाहे कर ले, मैं क्या कर सकता हूँ।
While the Shiv Sena UBT hurled a B-team charge at the suspended MLA, accusing him of praising Aurangzeb at the BJP's behest.
औरंगजेब का बारे में जो बयान दिया था वो किसी को मदद करने के लिए दिया था। भारतीय जनता पार्टी कल विधानसभा में संकट में थी। धनंजय मुंडे के ऊपर विपक्ष हमला करने वाला था, हमलावर हुआ था, तो उनसे ध्यान भटकाने के लिए बीजेपी की तरफ से एक आदेश आ गया अबू भाई को, कुछ ऐसा स्टेटमेंट दे दो कि हम भी हंगामा करेंगे, हम भी भाषण करेंगे और पूरा माहौल बिगड़ जाएगा, तो औरंगजेब के ऊपर भाषण दे दिया।
The party hit the streets against Azmi's remarks. Azmi's comments on Aurangzeb exploded as a political issue in Maharashtra after Deputy CM Eknath Shinde described the SP MLA's statement as treason. Clearly, the Maha war over Aurangzeb is far from over. Bureau Report, India Today.
Because any right-minded person will say and should say that criticizing, condemning the glorification of Aurangzeb is wrong and action should be taken. But should that action tantamount to suspension in assembly? That is debatable, and there are both sides of the debate on that account. Once again, condemning those who glorify Aurangzeb is right and should be done. Many would suggest you're actually correcting a historical wrong. But when it comes down to suspending a person for praising Aurangzeb in assembly is debatable. And that debate only magnifies when there is political hypocrisy involved in it. And why I call out political hypocrisy for these very reasons. Because many of those who were sitting in this assembly have been glorifying Nathuram Godse, the murderer of Mahatma Gandhi, the father of the nation. It wasn't just a political assassination, it was the father of the nation. And not just many inside the assembly, Nitesh Rane for one, but many outside the assembly as well. Taking you through some who have gone ahead, glorified, praised, eulogized Nathuram Godse, but no real action has been taken. One of them, Abhijit Gangopadhyay, BJP MP, cannot choose between Gandhi and Godse. Giriraj Singh, who said, he's a BJP minister, he said if he is Gandhi's killer, he's also India's Saput, a good son. Sadhvi Pragya, many remember that controversy. Finally, she came up with a half-hearted apology, but no real action was taken. Nathuram Godse is a true patriot, she had said. Nalin Kumar Katil, BJP MP. Godse killed only one person. Rajiv Gandhi killed 17,000. Anant Kumar Hegde. You know, the list can go on. And if action has been taken by a state assembly to suspend someone for glorification of a tyrant, should action have also been taken for glorification of the murderer of the father of the nation? Well, this is one point. The other point also, action hasn't been taken where the most despicable words have been used on the floor of the assembly. And it's happened in parliament by no one else but Ramesh Biduri. We don't want to get into what he said because the words were despicable even to mouth them. And they've been expunged, so one can't even do that. So at the back, was action taken against him? Well, you know, he was later then rewarded with a ticket to fight the Delhi Assembly elections. Was he suspended in Parliament? No. So at the back of that, the question that I asked this evening, question 1, action against Aurangzeb glorification, correcting historical wrong. The second question that we ask, suspension for Aurangzeb praisers while Godse apologists get a free run, hypocrisy there, viewers. The third question that we ask this evening, selective suspension, doesn't it depict political hypocrisy? I want to take these questions to our panelists this evening. Joining me, Sanju Verma, National Spokesperson, Bharatiya Janata Party. I have Ghanshyam Tiwari, Spokesperson, Samajwadi Party, Rajat Sethi, Political Commentator, Neerja Chowdhury, Senior Journalist and Columnist. We're going to break this in two parts. First, we're going to focus on what the comments of Aurangzeb and on Aurangzeb and the suspension of Abu Azmi on it. And then we're going to go on to how you have now the UP Chief Minister who picked up the matter in the UP Assembly. So it's becoming a narrative in UP as well, just a day after Sambal was a point of concern. But to bring in our guest this morning, I want to cut across first to Sanju Verma. Sanju Verma, you know, one would suggest it's perfect to condemn a tyrant. One should. If there has been glorification, and there have been roads named after him, that should have never happened. You're correcting a historical wrong, perfect. But to suspend somebody from the assembly on what he said, when you have allowed many who continue to sit in the assembly, Nitesh Rane for one, who've glorified Godse in the past, and, you know, Nathuram Godse is the murderer of the father of the nation. So would you think there's a tad bit of hypocrisy there?
You know, Preeti, first and foremost, let's get one thing very clear. Under the Constitution, which is what is being bandied about by every leader from the opposition, that same Constitution gives powers to the Speaker under Article 93, 94, 95, and 96. The Speaker is the presiding officer of the House. The Speaker has the powers and the prerogative to suspend a member if he chooses to do so. So Rahul Narvekar, the Speaker of the Maharashtra Assembly, chose to suspend Abu Azmi, and I applaud Rahul Narvekar's decision. Point number 1. There is nothing unconstitutional about what Rahul Narvekar has done. He's simply reading out from the playbook or the holy grail called the Constitution of India. The second point, you gave examples in your introductory comments about Giriraj Singh, the likes of Sadhvi Pragya and Nalin Katil and Ramesh Bidhuri. As the national spokesperson of the BJP, whenever I have been asked a question and I represent my party, I have always condemned incendiary, provocative statements, be it Ramesh Bidhuri or from Giriraj Singh, what have you. But what I don't understand is this hypocrisy. When the topic of discussion is about Abu Azmi glorifying Aurangzeb, suddenly what do we see media doing? They go back to Nathuram Godse. Nathuram Godse पर debate हो चुकी है. गिरिराज सिंह को आपने condemn आप कर चुकी हैं. रमेश बिधूड़ी पर debate हो चुकी है. When there was a debate on Ramesh Bidhuri, nobody spoke about Abu Azmi. Whereas Abu Azmi is prone to making incendiary and defamatory statements at the drop of a hat. When Giriraj Singh made statements which were not kosher, debate ho chuki hai. By your logic, let me say one thing. When Abu Azmi knew that this session is underway. What was the need to make this provocative statement? And then he says, without so much as, shedding a droplet of remorse or regret, he goes on to say, मैंने कोई गलत थोड़ी कहा, जो इतिहासकारों ने लिखा है, मैंने तो इतिहासकारों की बात कही है, और मेरी स्टेटमेंट को लोगों ने तोड़ मरोड़ दिया है. 10 seconds more. I would urge through your show illiterates like Abu Azmi to read Masare Alamgiri by Mushtaq Khan and the history of Aurangzeb chronicled wonderfully well by Sir Jadunath Sarkar, where he says that the most brutal reign of the Mughal Empire was under Aurangzeb, who not only beheaded Dara Shikoh, his brother, and handed him on a platter to Shah Jahan before imprisoning his own father Shah Jahan, but also imprisoned his own daughter.
All right, Sanju Verma, I'll come back to you.
Fell in love with a Sufi poet.
Okay, Sanju Verma, I'll circle back to you. I want to open up the panelists, but what my opening remarks, nobody questioned the constitutionality of it. The Speaker in his very right can suspend whoever he wants, and he has done so. Nobody's questioning the constitutionality of it. On the other hand, there is so much said about whataboutery, but sometimes whataboutery is essential as a journalist to bring up action taken if it is partisan in nature. So I think as a journalist, I have done my job in that context, because a lot would be made about whataboutery. It is about this is about this should be spoken of. It should be spoken of. Should anyone who glorifies Aurangzeb be condemned? Definitely. Should roads be named after him? Definitely not. But should then those who glorify Godse, those who use the most despicable language, some in parliament, should they be suspended? Of course. As a journalist, I'm supposed to do that. But Ghanshyam Tiwari, I want to bring you into this conversation. Ghanshyam Tiwari, I really want to ask you, what in the world was Abu Azmi thinking? Many would actually agree, with what the Shiv Sena UBT says, that he's played into the hands of the BJP beautifully when the Maharashtra Assembly was all about the murder that has taken place in Beed.
Good evening, Preeti, to you, my fellow co-panelists and the viewers. There are two quick answers is I don't know what he was thinking. Two, that it is a fair criticism from various leaders that this plays into the hand of BJP. But the point is that what is the hand of BJP? Why is this hand important to BJP? I'll say three things. One, the Aurangzeb tyranny model is no different from Adityanath's tyranny model, where Aurangzeb bulldozed, Adityanath bulldozes. He committed atrocities.
And Tiwari, may I just come in? I'm sorry I
Please.
interrupt you. And the only reason, okay, I hate doing it and I apologize. But the only reason is, you can criticize the Yogi Adityanath model on its own right, but you're actually trying to compare an Aurangzeb to Yogi Adityanath. I think that's an unfair comparison. And you agree, I'm sure. It's a very unfair comparison in the form of the brutality that Aurangzeb, come on. Go ahead, make your point.
It is a fair criticism, but I'll still make my point. The models are no different. The scale can be different. Both bulldoze structures, both use religion as the foundation of their leadership. Both committed atrocities and were unaccountable. Both disrespected elders. Till this point, at a different scale, the models are no different. The main point is, why is this hand important to BJP? BJP from Sambhal to Aurangzeb is right now trying to ensure that bringing a 400-year-old man, a man who died 320 years ago, into the center stage of Indian debate is because of many things. Since September 27, 2024, 94 lakh crore of investor wealth has been wiped off. Two friends of Prime Minister, I'm not talking about Mr. Adani, Xi Jinping and Mr. Trump, has been at India's case, making India's business environment weaker. So BJP...
allow him to speak, please don't interrupt. Can I just get Ghanshyam Tiwari, ma'am? Because there are three people, I don't have the timer, but I am keeping time. Ghanshyam Tiwari, you have 20 more seconds. Make your point, sir.
BJP desperately needs the ghost of a man who died 320 years ago. And final point, if this is the standard for hate speech for BJP, the India Hate Lab says that 1,165 hate speeches were documented, 80% in BJP-ruled state, 340 of those events were organized by BJP. So BJP is the reigning champion across the world on hate speech.
Ghanshyam Tiwari, I'm going to cut you on that. I want to bring in Rajat Sethi into this conversation, and I'll circle back to you, Sanju Verma. You'll get all the time, or equal time rather. But Rajat Sethi, the fact is, there is a huge train of thought now, which seem to suggest it's time to correct the wrongs of history and to eulogize and glorify a figure who's not just deeply controversial. And now, the more that we're talking about it, the more understandably the anger is. But with what went down in the assembly, would you reckon to speak you're not even speaking in assembly. Outside, a comment praising a tyrant, yes. Should somebody be suspended on those grounds? When so many people get away with, not murder, but, words which are very strong.
Preeti ji, you're again bringing Godse back in. My point is this Godse business started with your tweet, I suppose. And this is a strawman, no, please hold it. It is a fallacy, it's a logical fallacy to try and attack your opponents where you feel perhaps that they are weaker. So that you ignore the core argument of what Abu Azmi said and what were the merits or demerits of him. You're trying to train your guns on the BJP, which is not fair, especially with regards to the current topic of discussion. Now, having said that, what Abu Azmi did, what would have triggered his mind? Was he trying to dog whistle to a specific community? What was he trying when he was trying to eulogize Aurangzeb? Aurangzeb and the history around it, and many such histories of foreign invaders who came in, attacked, butchered our civilization, wounded our civilization. Those wounds have run pretty deep. They're still there. I mean, we haven't addressed those wounds in its entirety. The more we are trying to explore, the more we are trying to unravel it, unfold it, the greater the atrocities of this man is coming to the surface. What on earth is this politician trying to say and do? Whom is he trying to dog whistle through his commentary? I genuinely want to understand what triggered his whole outburst around and in support of Aurangzeb. And I'm telling you this, this question, a lot of people through your audience will continue to ask, why is India still stuck in the past? Because genuinely, as a wounded civilization, it will be till those wounds are not completely erased by knowing every aspect of it, every fact of it. We will continue to speak about it. Look at what the Jews do. Till date, they are making movies out of every single atrocity that Hitler did on their community. Okay. You don't ask them that question. Oh, why are you talking about Hitler repeatedly after 60 years? Similarly, we will continue to talk about the atrocities that Aurangzeb continue doing, and on every platform, we occupy every platform to paint him in its truest picture.
Fair point. There is no problem, and one should talk about a tyrant. One should talk about if he's been represented in a wrong way. You made a statement that I'm looking to attack a political party. I'm just doing my business as a journalist. You're meant to question, and I, as a journalist, I am allowed and meant to question the establishment if there is action which is taken, which is seemingly partisan. That's it. Because you've not taken action. When you talk about Godse, Godse is not just a murderer, he's the murderer of the father of the nation. So anyone who's going to go ahead and praise Godse or glorify Godse, I would reckon should be suspended.
Can I please come in?
He's not suspended. That's it. Ma'am, I'm just going to move forward. I'm coming back to you, Sanju Verma. I'm just going to our next topic and we can go back into it. Just want to flip it over to what happened in the Maharashtra Assembly, resounded in the Uttar Pradesh Assembly. And that was Yogi Adityanath who used what Abu Azmi said and then the suspension of Abu Azmi, and then on top of it, you have the Samajwadi Party who came out to defend Abu Azmi. Well, Yogi Adityanath said this today in the UP Assembly.
दुर्भाग्य है कि इन्होंने आदर्श किसको माना है, यानी औरंगजेब को, जो भारत को रौंदने के लिए आया था, जजिया कर लगा रहा था, भारत का इस्लामीकरण कर रहा था। हाँ, जिनका आचरण औरंगजेब जैसा है, वे लोग औरंगजेब पर गौरव की अनुभूति करें, लेकिन भारत को कम से कम इस पर न करें, और समाजवादी पार्टी को इसका जवाब देना चाहिए। समाजवादी पार्टी का नेता, आपका विधायक घोषणा करो ना, उस कमबख्त को निकालो पार्टी से और उसको एक बार यूपी भेज दीजिए, बाकी उपचार हम अपने आप करवा लेंगे।
मैं तो देश में ही रहता हूँ, मैंने तो कोई ऐसी बात नहीं बोला है। अब योगी जी की सरकार है, यहाँ पे जो है हमारे फडणवीस साहब की सरकार है और हमारे एकनाथ शिंदे साहब की सरकार है। अगर इस सरकार में डिक्टेटरशिप है, इसमें जो है लोकशाही नहीं है, डेमोक्रेसी खत्म हो चुकी है, तो जो चाहे कर ले, मैं क्या कह सकता हूँ।